Okay. Nice to see you guys. My name is Oleksii Lavrenin. I'm SDET lead. And today I want to talk about automation testing types. Why it's so important for any engineer in different companies? Because we have big stereotype why what is responsibility of SDET or automation engineers. And usually many engineers, they think that after SDET, they can automate only Selenium web UI. For example, you can see that different types of automation testing, yeah? And for example, usually companies think that, okay, if we have automation engineer, it means that we can automate only Selenium web, yeah? And it's a good point because it's very important for any company. But many people in industries don't know that we can automate more and more different types of automation testing. And I can show you just a couple of examples how we can give more value as stats or automation engineers. For example, we can automate database using Java or SQL. We can automate API using different API tools or REST Assure library. We can automate security using different security scanners and possible to automate performance in Geometer. Geometer is one of the best tools for that, and Sure Web. And Selenium is the best tool for UI web automation testing. Plus, we can use different tools like NRX or Cypress or something more. Okay, and some companies, they have just desktop UI. And Selenium doesn't like desktop, and it's not possible to use Selenium for desktop automation testing. It means that we need to find other solution for this type of testing. Like, for example, we can use Vino. It's a testing library like Selenium, but for desktop. Or NRX. NRX is very powerful for desktop, web, mobile, but NRX has a lot of disadvantages for automation testing. But for some companies, it's one of the best solutions. And for mobile, sure, we can use NRX or Appium. Okay, and I want to show you what is most important for any SDET or automation engineer. Most important to create some automation strategy and select correct tools and correct technology just for this project. Okay, for example, if we have a challenge from company that we have problems with our database, and every time we have different bugs, different problems, different issues, any automation engineer who knows Java or other language can automate this type of testing. For example, I usually use Java and plus JDBC connector plus SQL and plus TestNG as test framework. And we can use data-driven approach when we can verify different parameters in database and in just one test case. And it takes a couple milliseconds for one small verification. And usually when I start creating backend database automation testing, I test three processes. First, we have some specific file from customer where we have sensitive data like first name, last name, different timestamps, different flags. We can test this type of file and verify that we have good data in our file and everything is good with this data. After, usually developers create some batch process when we load this data to database. But before that, we have some transition, yeah? And it means that it's possible to verify that what we have inside our batch file and what we have inside our database after that. This is most critical for us because if some transition of data is failed, we definitely can catch bugs. And for example, in my area, I have situation when developer create merge of data and we lost 2,000 records. And TestNG and Java can help me to verify that just for a couple seconds. That's why this type of testing is very crucial and is very important for everybody, but sometimes some companies, they don't provide permissions for QA and don't know that QA engineers, they can automate this process. And I can give you some example what we can use for batch files from customers. Yeah, for example, we can create some specific rules. If inside our file we have some special characters, digits, or for example, special characters, digits, letters, everything like that, and we can set up some rules. Like, for example, this data is required, this data is restricted, or optional. And after that, we can verify thousands and thousands records of sensitive data inside batch file and to catch some bugs before we load this data to our database. Okay, and we can use data providers. It's one of the best features in TestNG test framework, how we can create parameterization for our test cases. Why it's interesting? Because data provider help us to create separate test case for one small verification. It means, for example, if we have 4,000 parameters in our database, for example, 4,000 first names, data provider can connect to database, and after that to verify 4,000 records for 10 seconds and provides 4,000 separate test results. If one parameter is failed, doesn't matter, but we have good test results. We know exactly that data is good in our database. Okay, and for our batch file, we can create some rules. Like, for example, if we use Notepad++, we open this batch file and we can track different columns. And for example, between these columns, we have some information about account number. For next set of columns, we have last name, first name, and address. And after that, using data provider, we can verify thousands and thousands of records inside our batch file. This is very critical for any company, because if automation engineer can work with backend and verify a database, it's faster verification than Selenium Web UI automation testing. Okay, and for example, for connection to database, we can use specific classes, and after we create some joint using SQL and collect all data what we have inside database, and after verify same data inside batch file. Okay. Okay, other type of automation testing what automation engineers can use, it's usually API functional testing. It's very important for any company because it's super fast, super efficient verification. In 5 minutes, we can verify that our web services are working well for this type of application. And I noticed that in industry, we can use sometimes different API clients like libraries, but usually many companies, they prefer to use API tools. Why it's so important? Because in many companies, we have many manual engineers, QA manual engineers, and they don't know how to create different scripts. And it takes a lot of time to create this type of scripts and support the scripts too. It means that always cheaper and always better and more efficient just to provide some tutorials for Postman, Geometer, or SOAP UI. And after that, possible to create any API functional automation testing inside these 3 most common tools. Okay, and usually Postman has a lot of nice features how you can create different scripts. You can see that yes, we need to create some scripts for that. But in Postman, we can click just one button, and after that, Postman can generate different type of code snippets for us, and different type of assertions, and different type of verifications. It means that nice Postman can automate everything for API functional testing. Okay, I have a question to you. Do you think SOAP UI is it only suitable for API functional testing or not? What do you think? Maybe Tony knows that.
That's a good question. I should know this, but I don't think I do.
Okay. Many QA engineers, I think SOAP UI is one of the best API functional testing tool. And it's definitely true because it costs some money. It's not cheap. for companies, but it has a very nice structure of different layers, like test suites, test cases, test steps, connection with database, connection with different generation of data. But many QA engineers, they don't know that in SOAP UI Pro version, or Ready API, it's called Ready API 2, we can click one button and after that convert our API functional testing to load testing. And after that generate load for our server. Or we can click another button and after that we can convert our API functional test cases to security testing. And after we can activate security scanner and SOAP UI can generate a security report for us and verify a lot of different injections. Tony, do you know that? No? Just curious.
I had heard that, but I've never actually worked with it.
Okay.
I didn't know that either. My understanding was that SOAP UI is only good for SOAP protocol, and especially given it costs money, it's a vendor tool. I never even seriously considered it for the API testing.
Okay, it's a big stereotype that SOAP UI it's only for SOAP testing. In SOAP UI we can create SOAP, API functional testing, REST. We can set up very nice, great test suites, test cases, and after that we can convert our API functional testing to security or load testing. That's why it has thousands and thousands new features. But it costs some money.
You can also do performance testing as well, right?
Performance testing, definitely. Load testing, yeah. Like performance load, the same, yeah, for me.
How much does it cost about?
I think $600 per person. I'm not sure about enterprise price, but for person it's cost $600. Okay.
Per year, per month, per day?
No. Okay, and usually in SOAP UI we have very interesting structure, like we can create test suites, like simple folder, and after that we can create test case inside, and inside this case we have a lot of different steps. And usually if it's pro version, we can set up a lot of great steps, like we can connect with database, we can generate a different set of data, like first name, last names, phone numbers. That's why it's one of the best tools for API functional testing. Okay. And you can see that, okay, we have API functional testing here, and after that we click one button, and after SOAP UI can generate load test suite for us, and after we click another button and we generate security test cases. And after in our big test suite, we have three types of API automation testing. Okay, and about Geometer. Is Geometer suitable only for performance testing? What do you think? What is your experience? QA.
Man, my experience that it is all outdated GUI-based tool that you need to avoid if you can. This is my personal take on Geometer. It uses some crazy XMLs, as far as I remember. It is hard to program it, and a lot of people are trying to find some other load tools, but there is not too many around. This is my take on the Geometer.
Yeah,
Okay.
When I started doing some performance testing, my company tried steering me away from Geometer. I wanted to try it in the beginning, but we ended up using other things. So.
Okay, it's always good to know that we have different experience. From my experience, Geometer is one of the best tools for performance testing, and in Geometer we can set up API functional testing for REST or for SOAP. But again, it's my experience. Yeah, definitely we can work with different type of API testing in Geometer. Okay, Yeah, we can use it for API REST or for SOAP functional testing. Okay, and I can show you how we create different variables inside Geometer. You can see that we have, for example, we have key and values, and we provide different variables like that. And after we can create CSV file, and inside CSV file, we can add, for example, thousands and thousands different first name, last names, different email, city. Possible we can connect to database and after take this data too. And after that, Geometer can loop in different set of data using just one API call. For example, we have one API call for add contact. Okay, and just one test case for us. But if we connect Geometer with CSV file, after that we create thousands and thousands different API functional testing with different verifications. And it's possible to set up same in SOAP UI and in Postman. Yeah, same. Okay, Rest Assure. Rest Assure is one of the best test library for API functional testing. But the problem is many QA engineers, they don't have experience with this library. It means that we need to learn it, even we know Java, and we don't have experience with API, or we don't have experience with Rest Assure. It means it takes time for us to understand this type of library. And super basic script, what you can use it, like, for example, we can create API request, and after provide some token or some cookies, after add some header, after add some body, and after verify different responses, different response codes, and after possible, we can parse this JSON as our response and take some ID, for example, for our next case. Okay, security testing. Usually, in many companies, they have different security teams. Yeah, it's separate, always separate from any company. But sometimes QA automation engineers, they need to create some automation for that. And my experience, I integrate security scanner inside API and UI functional test frameworks. And this is one of the best, most powerful security scanner in IT industry. It's called Lavrenin, and it has thousands and thousands different type of injections. And you don't need to create this type of injections because you have some repository, and inside this repository you have everything for that. You can use the proxy using GUI mode. You can open that, but it's not real automation because anyway you need to click some button. And we have a different tool like Burp Suite. It's same approach. It has same approach. And I can show you a small structure how you can use your security scanner inside API and UI functional test frameworks. For example, we have CI/CD pipeline. Yeah, we have Jenkins. After, for example, we have Maven and SNG. Okay, we have our Selenium test cases. And after, usually we just run these test cases in browser, in headless mode. And after we generate some reports, like video reports, South Lab reports, doesn't matter. Or we can run our test cases in South Labs in cloud. Yeah, but if we want to activate our security scanner, how we can do it? Inside Docker, we can install our proxy on specific port. And after that, in Selenium Grid, via proxy, we just say that, okay, Selenium, please run your test cases via this port. And what's happened next? The proxy intercepts this HTTP traffic and analyze this traffic using passive scanner. And after that, provide different security test results. Okay, if you want to check our API functional testing, for example, we used Rest Assure, and we have API test cases, and usually after that we just create our test reports, everything is good with this part. But if you want to check our endpoints via security scanner, after that we just send our API test cases on this IP and the specific port inside Docker. And after that, security scanner just verifies this traffic too. And what's happened next? If we have permission to attack our server, after that we can activate active scanner, and the proxy start sending thousands and thousands different type of injections. And what is interesting is that the proxy can replace different parameter, can replace endpoint parameter in JSON body, and after that the proxy generates security report. Do you have some problem with our application or not? Okay, and we can use GUI mode with the proxy, or we can use the proxy Java library. How we can, if you need to automate that, yeah. If you need to automate ZAP security scanner, we can use ZAP proxy API, something like that. Okay, activate different type of scanners, save HTML reports. And sure, we need permission for that, because if we attack our server without permission, it's definitely illegal. Okay, RenRX. RenRX is a very powerful tool for desktop, mobile, and web UI testing. But if we compare this tool with different type of tools, we have advantages like, okay, we can use RenRX for web UI, desktop, and mobile. It's great, yeah? We have just one tool, and that's it. But we have many disadvantages. Super slow execution. We can use only C#, and we have not flexible conditions. It means every time we need to copy paste our code, even in C#, and it's not great for us, and that's why we use Selenium or Cypress and not RenRX. Okay. If we need to create automation testing for desktop, Venom is one of the best library for that. We can use Java or we can use C# for that. It's like it's same approach as Selenium, like page object model, but Selenium can work with desktop. And if we track what is advantages or disadvantages for this tool, it's very flexible like Selenium. We can use it for desktop. We can use two languages like Java or C#, and it's super fast execution compared with RenRX. But what is disadvantages? For some reasons, it's not updated for 6 years or 6 years already. Okay, and what I don't like in desktop testing, we have huge XPaths compared web UI. And it's big problem because we can miss any element for this type of testing. It's huge XPaths for any desktop element. Okay, Appium. Appium for mobile automation testing, definitely. And I have a question to you. Is it Appium suitable only for mobile automation testing or not? What do you think?
Probably yes.
Probably yes. Okay, Tony, do you know? Answer?
I don't know, but I've heard that it's suitable for more than just the mobile testing.
Okay, I have surprise for you. Yes, for mobile testing, but you can use it for desktop testing too.
Wow.
Appium supports desktop testing. It has specific driver for that, and you can automate desktop using Appium.
Like any platform on a desktop or
Windows.
Windows. Okay.
Yeah. And I will provide a link and some information about that because it's very nice fact. I didn't know that, but some very wise guy.
I thought that there was some WinDriver by Microsoft, but I had no idea that it is through Appium. My understanding it was some standalone thing, and they don't actually. Also a little bit dated and not really updated too much.
Okay, I will provide information. You can read this article if you want. Yeah, maybe it's something new for you too.
It is.
Oh, nice. Have some news. Okay. Okay. Disadvantages Appium. Okay, advantages, sorry. Good for native applications, Android Studio, Android and iOS, yeah. And it's great because we use just one language for that. And what I like in mobile testing, we have super easy locators. We can use just text. We can create same page object model and compare Selenium. It's super easy test cases. And we can use this Appium for desktop automation testing. But what is disadvantage of Appium? It's super slow automation, specifically for mobile native, not stable, because sometimes it's failed with some spinners, some problems, and we need a lot of configurations to set up Appium before we create a page object model. Okay, and this is
question. I'm sorry, question.
Sure.
What do you mean slow? Is it slow in development or it's slow running?
Slow running, slow execution, super slow. It's like you can drink coffee and after come back, you know, you have results. Compare Selenium, for example, or Cypress. Okay, and this is just simple example what we can use. It's same as Selenium, same TestNG and Java, but we have additional actions like we can tap, we can swipe, we can use mobile actions for that. Yeah. Okay. And usually for any locators, we use just text, usually.
So I actually have a question. Like,
Sure.
in your opinion, like I guess what do you prefer to do? Like, do you prefer using Selenium, like, you know, resizing the window to emulate like a browser, to emulate like a mobile browser, or would you prefer using like a dedicated something like an Appium, you know, to test a mobile device?
Okay, if you test web mobile, I definitely prefer to use Selenium because in TestNG we have a nice feature how we can use 14 Chrome emulators for resizing. And you don't need to think about size of resolution. You need just specify same name as Chrome emulator. And after you can use same Selenium test cases for your web mobile functional testing. But if you talk about native applications, Selenium can't work with native applications. It means we need to use some other tool, other library for that. Appium is good just because we can use one language, Java. But I know many mobile automation engineers, they don't like Appium because it's slow, it's not stable, and they prefer to use native languages for native applications. That's why the question is, if what you test? You test web mobile or you test native application? If web mobile, Selenium is good. If native application, it's Appium is better.
I see. Cool. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, and after in the end, sure, we have different CI tools. Sure, we can integrate all these tools and libraries with CI/CD pipeline. And I don't want to talk about Selenium today because you know a lot about Selenium. Okay, in conclusion, SDET can automate everything using coding and QA knowledge.